Mhm.
All right. And we are live. Okay. Hello, everyone. And thank you again for joining me for another episode of the Evolving Women webinar. My name is Margaret Stout. I am the Community Partnerships Associate for Sister Reach. Sister Reach is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is centered around reproductive justice, or RJ. RJ is the right to have absolute autonomy, regardless of gender and sexual orientation, free from coercion and shame. This also includes the choice to parent, adopt, and if one is to parent, the right to raise a family in a secure environment. The Evolving Women webinar is for women to have a safe space to care for ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. So again, thank you everyone on Facebook for joining. And for this month, we have the lovely Joyce Kyles today, whose workshop is called Creating Your Utopia. Good afternoon, Joyce. How you doing today?
Good afternoon. I am awesome. How are you?
Doing wonderful.
Good.
I was before we got started, we were having a great conversation about self-care and COVID and all of that, and I was like, we could have been talking about this on Facebook. So yeah. So for the
Yes,
people
we
that
were.
do not know, could you tell the people who Joyce Kyle is? Can we learn a little bit more about you?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks so much to Sister Reach for the opportunity to be able to share a little bit about myself and what I do, and hopefully, be able to provide some insights on creating your utopia as we go through this next hour together. But I am Joyce Kyles. I am an international speaker, trainer, two-time best-selling author through Amazon. I have my own nonprofit, so I'm the founder and CEO of Walking into a New Life. And our mission there is to provide community awareness and tangible resources for individuals who have been impacted by domestic violence. And so we are really excited about some of the things that we have coming up as we enter into October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we have a lot of changes that we're making that we are really excited about. So just shameless plug, if you're not already following Walking into a New Life, please do so on Facebook. And of course, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into what I'm here for today. I'm also the CEO of Joyce Kyles Consulting. So I have my own coaching and consulting business. I am a certified life coach, and I love what I do. I love working with people. My primary target audience is women in professional development, personal development. That's a bit about me. I am a proud wife, a mom, a Mimi, a community leader, an advocate, an activist for social change. And I just love what I do. So I'm glad to be here to share a little bit.
Thank you so much for that. And being that you are a life coach and you're centered around helping women, we definitely need you for the Evolving Women webinar. So that's perfect. So I'm not gonna hold you up. So you teach me, teach everyone how we can work to create our own utopia.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to dive a little bit into that. And then towards the end, we're going to circle back around to what we were talking about before this started. So maybe some of the things that we talked about will be discussed here. And then maybe it'll, come up with some other things that we can include as we conclude this workshop. So I believe in, I won't keep you long, but I keep you long enough. So the title that was chosen for me was Creating Your Utopia. And just by definition, utopia is an imagined place or state of things in which everything is perfect. So, we are in this age of COVID right now. And so we know that there is nothing perfect about what's going on with us right now and the things that we are doing or having to do, rearrange our lives in so many personal and professional ways. It is just unreal. And we're still finding ourselves doing a lot of self-discovery and trying to figure out how do we maneuver this thing called life even before COVID. So now that we are in this particular space and place right now, what that looks like for us. And that's going to be different for everyone. So the first thing that I want to make sure that people understand when it comes to Utopia and what that means is that I personally believe that it is an inside out process. So when we think about, taking care of ourselves and self-care, what does that look like? First thing we always think of is, we're going to get our hair done, we're going to get our nails done, we're going to the spa, and in this day and time in the space that we're in, some of that is just not even conducive for us to do, either because of social distancing, or let's just be real about it, we don't have the money to do it. It's just not there. So we're having to pick and choose what is the real priority. And if that is a priority for you and something that you enjoy and that's what brings you peace, then we have to be creative and strategic in how we go about creating that. So again, it's not always just about the outside, because we want the outside to feel good, look good, all of that. But if you're not well on the inside, then the outside doesn't have the chance to show the full beauty that it could. It doesn't give its full essence, its true essence. So, I often talk about being a dressed up mess. We got that hair fish, that makeup, as they say, beat to the gods and all of this kind of stuff. That all looks good. It's great. It's fantabulous. It's all that. We got the nails done. We're looking wonderful. But September is actually National Suicide Awareness Month. And so sometimes that self-care, we're just focused on this, but the inside is so distorted. It's so messed up. It's got so many issues. We can't appreciate this. And so we think self-care is just about, well, if I just get my hair and my nails done, I'll feel better. But those problems still exist. So we can't appreciate who we are and whose we are if we haven't worked on the inside first. So that's one of the most important things that I wanted to make sure is that people understand Utopia. It's about everything that's perfect, but also recognizing that it's okay to be imperfectly perfect. There are no perfect people, no perfect situations. COVID has proven that the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. We all had plans and intentions on how we wanted our lives to look, and we're having to change them because of COVID, in addition to other things. So when we talk about that, one of the first things I want people to know is to burn your cape. Burn your Superman, Superwoman cape. Burn your little mask, let it go. Some of us have an exaggerated sense of our own importance. We think that if we don't do it, if it's not done at this particular time and it's not done in this particular way, and we haven't micromanaged and overseen it all, then it's not going to happen. It's not going to get done. I was watching an episode of Good Times, and Thelma, and yeah, I'm a movie person, so y'all probably gonna hear me reference, movie and TV throughout this whole conversation. But Thelma and Keith were talking. And at this point, Keith was the big time football player who had gotten hurt, broke his leg, and now he's living in the projects in Thelma's old room. And, he's driving a cab to the Super Bowl and started drinking. And that was his way of coping. And she told, after he slapped her, when she was packing his stuff to leave, and she told him, the world is going to continue whether you are playing in the Super Bowl or you driving people to it. So my point with all of that is the world will continue. Life will still go on. It's all right if you take a step back. It's all right if you allow somebody else to handle what needs to be done. It's okay to delegate. Part of self-care and peace of mind in your perfect world may need to be to take a step back to realize I cannot do everything. We always talk about, don't say can't, don't say can't. I have a whole ABC list of can'ts for me. And what I can't do is allow myself to be stretched so thin that I can't get done the work that needs to be done. Because if you've burned yourself out, you won't be any good to yourself or anyone else. So for some people, it's really difficult. So I say, put yourself on a schedule. Put yourself on a schedule. One of the things that Margaret and I were talking about was time management before this, and just, I'll get to it later, I get to it later, I get to it later. And then later never comes. You know how you schedule this block of time is for your children to be in school? And this block of time, if you are a person who works for yourself, you have a schedule for when your clients come in. You have a schedule of when you do emails. You have all these cute little things in place. Somewhere in there, you have to schedule some time for yourself. You have to teach yourself how to treat yourself. So teach yourself how to treat yourself, because other people will treat you in accordance to what you allow. And that includes us. We treat us how we allow ourselves to be treated. So if we put ourselves on the back burner, if we decide I'll get to me when I get to me, and then we get mad at other people when they treat us that same way, we get upset. Oh, I can't believe they treat. How do you treat yourself? How did you present yourself? How do you show up in the world in terms of self-care? Because see, no one's going to care about your self-care the way that you do. No one is going to be concerned that you've been working hours straight and have not had any rest. That's not a perfect place of utopia. That is not a perfect place of peace for you. It's an unhealthy space to be in. And yet we allow ourselves to be in that space every single day. So teach yourself how to treat yourself. And then put yourself on a calendar. If you have to literally, like I have a wall calendar up here now. If you literally have to put it on the wall, if you have to put it in your cell phone and set yourself a reminder, okay, my day and my time is coming up. Maybe it is a block. Maybe you have a really rigorous schedule through the day, but from 6 to 8 or from 8 to 10, or if you can only do 30 minutes, start slow, but block that time out and then be consistent with doing that. So just keep those things in mind. And then also one of the things I wanted to make sure that I pointed out as we talk about, creating this place of perfect peace, is that you can do this at a minimal cost. Like, for instance, I mentioned earlier about us going and getting the hair done, the nails done, going and getting those manicures, pedicures, the spa days, and those types of things. And that's all well and good if you can afford them and that is something that you enjoy. By all means, do it. I am not that person, never have been. My nails are done, but that was because there was an occasion for which I needed them to be done. Other than that, I just don't. I've got some nail polish that's in there that I probably had for the last 6 months, and I may have used it once, but that's not me. That is not my place of utopia. That is not my perfect peace, if you will. But you can do a lot of things at cost. Go and buy you some nail polish. Go buy some nail polish remover, the nail files. I'm gonna tell you what, Walmart sells an inexpensive nail kit for 99 cents, 98 cents. You can buy a more expensive one that's $4.99 at Walmart. You can go to the dollar store and go buy you some flowers. Buy you some plastic flowers. If you're allergic to real flowers, go to the dollar store, Dollar Tree, go buy you some ribbon and get one of them cheap $2 vases and create a space, an environment for you that is comfortable and at peace. Those little things matter. If you can buy real flowers, and I talk about this in my first book, Restoring the Whole in My Soul. And I was very intentional about spelling whole, W-H-O-L-E, because I really wanted to focus on the whole person, not just this one little small piece, but we are made up of many pieces, and all of that needs to be restored if you have been broken by something or someone and brought back to a place of peace and what peace looks like for you. So there's a whole chapter that gives just some ideas about some very inexpensive things that you can do for yourself that helps you to feel good and brings you back to center. And so flowers is one of the things that I mentioned. You can go to Kroger and look in their flower section. They have usually called like a manager special. You can find flowers there for as cheap as $1.99. Some of them have been as expensive as maybe $5. But you can get big, beautiful bouquets of sunflowers, of multicolored roses, and all these, lilies, just all kinds of things. And they'll even give you some little food to go along with it so you can cut it and keep them growing for a while. There are ways that you can create a space for you that makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel whole, brings you to a place of peace. If you are into meditation, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on religion because everybody's spiritual walk is different. So what I always tell people is to tap into whatever inner spirituality helps you to grow, whatever that inner peace is. Tap into that. And if you are a person who likes to meditate, again, go to the dollar store and get you some incense, get you some of those little candles and burn them. If you don't have the money to go and buy the really big, nice mats, the yoga mats, then get you one of your comforters. Use one of those, use a towel and lay it on the floor. But create your own prayer rug, your own prayer room, your own sanctuary of space. And I like to speak in terms of budget type of things. And it's not to say that if you have the money, spend the money. I mean, that's what it's for. I think sometimes when we talk about self-care, one thing that I have learned is that some people are afraid of failure, but some people are afraid of success too. And that disrupts their peace. And so they get this money, but because they've lived in poverty for so long and they've lived from paycheck to paycheck and hand to mouth for so long, they don't know what to do when they get the money. Spend it. That's how you'll have peace. Spend it on the things that you didn't get to have and enjoy when you were in that space of poverty, when you were in that space of lack. So just keep those things in mind that you can do things on a budget. Again, another place of having or establishing your peace is with coloring books and crayons. Go to Michael's and get you some really nice ones if you want to. Again, you can go to the dollar store and get you some crayons, markers. It can even be the children's coloring books. The whole point is not so much about the content of the books as much as it is paying attention and just allowing your mind to be in therapy, if you will. And then, of course, if you can afford one of the books that are more therapeutic, they're a little more expensive, they may have the scripts in them that, kind of like a guided practice. If you can afford those, then you buy them, because some of them are not really expensive at all. I think sometimes that we are afraid of, we think peace has to be expensive. And we think that in order to maintain peace, we have to spend a lot of money. You just have to have time, consistency, and discipline. Because without the discipline and consistency, none of these things that we'll talk about in this session or any of the sessions you heard previously or the ones you will hear later on, if you're not consistent and disciplined in practicing them beyond just hearing it today and move on, you can't say, well, that didn't work, because you have to be disciplined and consistent in trying. And so when I talk about peace, just knowing that it's an ongoing process, it's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen over time. And so I referenced that this was actually Suicide Awareness Month. And I want people to understand when it comes to peace, especially, and I'm just going to speak on our community, and by our, I mean in women. And then I'm going to be even more specific and say Black women. We are taught, and this is the reason why I said burn your cape, because there was a commercial that used to come on years ago. And it was a little white lady who was singing that I can bring home the bacon, fried up in a pan, and never ever let you forget you're a man, because I'm a woman. And I remember hearing that when I was a child and thought, really? This is the definition of what being a woman is. I got to get out here and go to work. When I get off work, I got to come home and cook the food. I got to serve the food. And then I got to do whatever it is that, women do for their significant other. And that's what makes me a woman. And then we wonder why we're around here depressed, frustrated. There's no demands made on our partner about what are you doing for me. It's always been commercialized about what the woman is going to do for everyone else. And then we find ourselves in this place of depression and ready to jump off a bridge, literally. And then we don't feel like we're supposed to talk to anybody about it or share it with anybody, because to do that means that there's some sort of weakness to us, because we should be strong Black women, and strong Black women should be able to take on the world. That's been part of the problem for centuries. We always trying to take it on. Somebody needs to help take some of this off of us. And we got to stop telling people, in terms of peace, we have to stop telling people, well, just go to God in prayer. Just pray about it. I am here to tell you, I truly believe you need Jesus and a therapist. And it is okay. You can go to God in prayer, get on your knees and do your stance and pray to him. But when you get up off your knees, you go to your phone, your computer, and you call somebody and you let them know, I am in trouble. I need help. I need to find my place of peace. Can you help me do that? And Facebook is not necessarily the place for it. You can ask for recommendations about it. And I can share several. I know several women that are great with what they do in terms of therapy and being able to talk to you, and they're well known and very trusted. But when we put these posts out here that, oh, my life is falling apart and God help me, and just on and on and on, it is a cry for help, but you're going about it the wrong way. Because 3/4 of the people that respond, they're going to tell you what they do. Put the little prayer hands up, put the little hearts up. I pray for you. You in my thoughts, you in my prayers. How many people actually reach out to you and inbox you and say, hey, sis, what's going on with you? How can I help you to find your perfect peace? What can I do to support you? How can I help you today? Very rare do we have people to do that. So when you are putting things out there, don't put it out there thinking that, oh, this is the answer to my prayers. Because oftentimes it is not. It only puts people in your business. It only makes, because they're quick to gossip. And again, if you're trying to establish what utopia is, what peace looks like, I often think about when Chadwick Boseman passed away. And I'm still just, I think everybody feels like one of their friends. It's like that was the superheroes for us for so many reasons outside of Black Panther. And some of us have been following him even long before then. But one of the things that I have always appreciated about him in his passing was that it wasn't even so much about the fact that he died of cancer. It was the fact that we all did not know it. The people who needed to know, they knew, and they supported him. And that's what we have to focus on when we talk about creating our perfect peace. There's a whole presentation that I give on your personal board of directors. And I talk about how you have to be careful about the circle and who's in your circle and for what reason, and defining who belongs where and why. So I won't even go into all of that, but those things are important because you can believe he wasn't going through that alone. He was not going through that alone. And everybody is shocked, surprised, and amazed, and you shouldn't be. That wasn't our business to know. Because what would we have done if we had? We would have babied, we would have coddled, we'd have felt sorry, we'd have put the little hearts up, we'd have put the little prayer hands up, and then that's it. That's all. That's all we have, because that's all we could do, because that's all we're limited to be able to do. He didn't need that. And that's not where he found his peace. He found his peace in going for what he needed to do, maintaining his job, and letting the people know who needed to know. I saw, and because I don't know what people are going through, specifically with him in terms of peace, the last movie that he did, The Five Bloods, one of the actors, was an older man, shared about how when he first met Chadwick, he said his wife asked him, well, what do you think of Chad? And he said, well, I think, he's a bit, I think the word was privileged or something. It was a negative word, but it started with a P, something like privileged or protected or something. And he went on to say that, he just acted like somebody who needed to be, coddled and babied, because between scenes, he had a Chinese massage therapist there, and his wife was there to kind of hold his hand and talk with him. He just seemed like he was being babied. And then he just burst into tears in his interview. And he said, I didn't realize that actually what they were doing was protecting him, because none of them knew what he was going through. So I'm sharing that to say this, that as we talk about creating your utopia, we talk about creating that sense of peace. Have some people in your circle that you can trust. Have some people in your life that you can go to and say, I have a problem. And then understand that with peace, understand everybody is not going to understand what your definition of peace looks like. And it's okay. You don't have to explain peace, not your peace. You don't have to explain that to anyone. And those who are close to you, who love you, who cherish you, who respect you, they will respect what peace is for you without question. It will be unconditional. So many times we think that we have to be perfect for other people. We have to explain ourselves to other people. And that's why we don't have peace, because we have not made peace with the understanding that no is a complete sentence. We have not made peace with the understanding that it's all right to not be available to other people. We have not made peace with understanding that, okay, today is my cheat day from exercise. That does not make me a bad person. It makes me human. We don't understand that it is okay to be perfectly imperfect in this walk. This is a journey. Self-care is daily. Self-care is self-practicing. Self-care is about discipline. It's about consistency. It's about understanding that you have limitations to who you are, and whose you are is unlimited, and that you have to reach out to whose you are in here. Because out here, you can dress this up all day long. It can look fantabulous all day. But if you've not addressed what perfect peace looks like on the inside, look, you can be toe up, hair not done, nails not done, but you can feel good on the inside. Some of the best days of my life have been when I've looked my absolute raggediest, because I didn't care what anybody thought or felt. It was about me. And it's not selfish to think about this in terms of you. So block some time out for yourself. It's okay to do that. Burn your cape, sister, because it is not going to help your situation. They're going to take your cape and cover it over again, drape it over your coffin. Ooh, that was a brave sister there. That was a soldier. I don't need nobody telling that to nobody for me at 49. I got too much life to live. I don't need no cape that bad. I don't need y'all to say I'm a superhero. I don't need any of that. I need to be who I need to be for myself first. Then I can be concerned about who I am as a mom, who I am as a wife, who I am as an author, who I am as a coach, who I am as a CEO, who I am in the community. But this has to be consistent. This does. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I appreciated her so much for saying to me that the one thing that they have always noticed about me from day one is that I am consistent. Like, I don't have to posture up depending on what space I'm in. Like, I'm still me, whether I'm in a room with my sister friends, or if I'm in a room where we're discussing business. I am comfortable in my skin. I am comfortable with who I am. Now, I might, share some things that may be a little different in the setting, but the essence of who I am remains the same. And that is a peace that surpasses all understanding that I would not trade for anything. I have to be comfortable with me. I love being at peace. So some of the other things that we talked about too before this started, we were just talking about taking care of ourselves, taking care of, family and friends in this space of COVID and what that looks like, especially because we are closed up with one another the way that we are. And what does peace look like? The sad reality of it is, for some people, this being closed up is actually wreaking havoc on them mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. So what I would say is, for those who may be, working with someone even in your organization or your business, or maybe you have a family member or a friend that is in a situation where it is not the most comfortable, just check on them. Call them, text them, do a drive-by, ask them to step outside. Because, just because we have to be socially distant from one another does not mean that we have to be socially disconnected as well. And I think we are afraid to even come outside on the porch sometimes. And it's okay. Just tell somebody I'm coming by. They can come stand out on the porch for a little while. Just take in some of God's natural, God-given air. That is a blessing to be able to breathe. That in itself, there's a peace to be had with that. And because of what I do for a living, I would not be who I am if I did not say that there's a reality that there are a lot of individuals who are going through domestic abuse, sexual abuse on some level, and it's being heightened because they are in these close spaces. They don't have the ability to go to work or go to the gym, or go to church or any place that makes them feel comfortable. And so if you know that there is someone who is going through that, and honestly, if it's you that may be listening either now live or on the replay, and it's you, do reach out to us at Walking Into a New Life so that either our organization can help you personally, or that we can refer you to some potential outlets that may be able to help you. The same way with this being Suicide Awareness Month. Depression is real, y'all. Suicide is real. There are many of us who have survived those things. And I say us because that has been part of my walk as well. And I speak about it candidly because it is what it is. And I am thankful that I'm able to speak about it on the other side, because there are so many who didn't feel that they had anyone to talk to, and they're not with us now. So if I can use my voice, my time, my talent to ensure that somebody else knows that there are people who care about them, that there's a way to live out your hopes, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, because I am living proof of that. It is one of the things that I do in my coaching when I'm talking with individuals. We really do a deep dive in assessing where you are, what you want to have, what you want to do, and what that looks like. I'm proof that that can happen. Right before we came back, right before this pandemic started, I was actually in Europe. I had been in Europe since December, and I'd had the opportunity to be able to work as an advisor on a military basis since December. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to do that, but it came because I'd allowed myself to work on a space of personal and professional growth and peace, and what that looks like for me. And I was very focused on making sure that I had all of what I needed intact, that my credentials were in place, that I had people who would provide good references for me, because again, all of that is about peace. It's about time management. It's about organization. It's about being ready. So I think it's Sugar Free that says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So that is, that is me. So I was ready. But in order to do, and that's what helps you with your peace, because everything is organized, everything is in its place, so that when someone comes to you and says, hey, I have an opportunity for you to go to Germany for 3 months, I'm ready to do that. And I went, and I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from it. And that was a piece that I had not expected. My husband shared with me prior to me going. He was very encouraging. And see, you need some encouraging people in your life. And he was really encouraging about me going. But one of the things that he asked me was, Joyce, when's the last time that you just spent time with yourself, by yourself, for yourself, doing for yourself? And I got ready, to posture up and get this answer. Well, I did go to this conference, and I did do this training, and I went to say. He said, no, that's not what I mean. When is the last time you spent time with you, doing for yourself, taking care of yourself, being there for yourself, being responsible for yourself? And again, I'm getting no, I haven't. I absolutely haven't. I am the oldest of 7. I got pregnant at 16, had my first child at 17. I was married at 18. I have always lived with someone. I have always taken care of someone. I have never, and that was a hard thing for me to accept. So I guess the last thing that I would say in terms of finding your peace is creating your utopia, and finding your peace also means owning your truth. It is also about owning your reality and creating your reality. I've wanted to go to Paris since I was 15 years old. And the choices that I made did not allow me the opportunity to do that. And that was something that wrestled with me for years. I want you to know that in February, I went to Paris. And not only did I go to Paris, but I went at the expense of someone else, you know? So instead of always that part. So, you know, but so there was a peace and a nostalgia that I had in all of that. So that's why I said, as I close this out about creating your peace, it is about knowing that it is not about when you started. It's about starting. It is not about, well, it's too late or that time has passed. I am 49 years old and I've wanted to do that since I was 15. And I allowed myself to believe that that was something that I would not do because I did not take the time to plan, to prepare, and create a sense of perfect peace for me that says, Joyce, you can put down that cake and you can focus on you. And so for those 3 months that I was there, the first 2 or 3 days, I really struggled. I dare not say maybe the first week. I struggled with being by myself. That was not a peaceful place for me because I was always accustomed to doing something for someone else. You all know it was so weird to come home from my assignment each day and there wasn't even a husband. And he is such an easy maintenance person. He truly is. But I didn't have to cook for him. I didn't have to wash anybody's clothes but mine. If I wanted to leave stuff laying around, I could. If I wanted to hang it up, I could. If I wanted to go out, I just went. I didn't tell anybody, hey, I'm getting ready to go to such and such. I'll be back after a while. That's a new level of peace for me. So this peace is an ongoing journey. Creating your utopia, your place of perfect peace is going to be different for everyone. It's going to be layers to it. But with each layer comes this place of peace and love and joy, appreciation for life, appreciation for the people around you. So just know that even before this, I had big hair. I had big curly hair. So it's time for this, it's all cut off because again, there's some peace and freeness in that. You know, sometimes we just got to cut it off and start over again. And it's okay to do that too. So don't be afraid. Do not limit yourself. Know that you can do things at a minimal cost. Know that the organization is here to help with walking into new life. If you have any issues or know someone who is surrounding domestic or sexual violence, or if they are in a place of contemplating things like depression, anxiety, suicide, you know, we're happy to either work with you or refer you to people who can help. And then for those who may be interested in, you know, some sense of life coaching, personal development, those types of things that I do personally, I'm more than happy to help you with that. I'm getting ready to work with a young lady now that is about to write her own book. And so I'm really excited about putting those pieces together because that is a place of peace for her. So I just love what I do. I thank you so much, Margaret, just for not only just the invitation and from everyone with Sister Reach that continues to support me in the organizational piece of what I do personally and professionally, but just you, Margaret, in the way that, you know, each interaction that we've had has always been fun and engaging, professional, but still sisterly, you know, sisterly at times. But it's been great. So I hope that, you know, in this time together that I have shared some things that have been helpful, either as a reminder to you or something new to just take away. So again, whether this is the replay for you or if you're listening live, you know, I just thank you for your time and attention for listening. And that's all I got.
Goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like, it's a couple things that I do want to uplift because I mean, again, like you said, we were having a discussion before we got started, and when you said something about it's not about when you start, it's about starting. And I was telling you that was my thing. You know, with COVID, I just feel like with COVID, everybody is dealing with this. This is the first time I can truly say everyone is truly dealing with the same thing simultaneously. but people are handling it different. And it's just, I think, I'm sorry, I felt like you were talking to me. I felt like you were talking to me. And another thing about women, all Black women, always feeling the need to be that strength for everyone else. It's almost a taboo thing to be able to stop and think of yourself as a woman first and take care of self first. It's been times because, like I told you, I'm a mother of two. If my kids, you know, they go with their grandparents or with my sister or something like that, and you know, I can think about, oh my goodness, when I get the house to myself, I'll be able to do this and that. When I get by myself and I don't hear any feet moving around, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. And I think it's important that we understand that it's okay to cater to ourselves. I do not subscribe to being a superwoman. I do not subscribe to being, I know everybody talks about Black girl magic, but please, I do not want to wear that jacket on my back. I am a woman. I am a Black woman. I get tired. I need rest. I need a book bath. Let me lock my door so you don't bother me. You know, so I get it, but I also, like, even with the representation in media, with making the Black woman the face of protest and making Black woman, like, if you want to get something done, come to a Black woman. It puts a lot on our shoulders, you know, and we walk around with this stress all the time. It becomes normalized to feel tired all the time. You feel like it comes with the job. You know, you're supposed to pick up the pieces of everything else, but who takes care of us?
Right.
Who takes care of us?
And even to that point, you know, we're looked upon, and to your point, we as Black women are looked upon to be that face when it comes to these protests and getting out there and leading the charge. And then what happens, what has systematically happened as a result of that, is white women get the credit.
Yep.
They're the ones getting the funding. They're the ones, it's like we get it started, and then here 2 or 3 of them show up, and that's not in every instance, but it's in ones that I have personally experienced, you know, where now here they come, and it's like they're the faces, but look at the foundation. You know, we just got through celebrating the right to vote and women's suffrage and all of this, and that's great. But wasn't it like another 100 years or so before Black women who were leading the charge? And even when we were marching, you know, we're marching behind, not with. You know, so we're expected to show up in these spaces. But again, we're talking about, you know, what our space and what our utopia and what our peace looks like. And it gets snatched from us, you know, systematically. So on so many levels, so we have to be strategic and intentional about what our peace looks like on a regular basis. And we have to own it and do it unapologetically. And we have to do it with them, but we got to do it with us as other Black women too, because see, that's part of the problem as well. We got the same 3 or 4 that will be on the forefront. The ones that are behind us don't always be for us in the way that they should be or need to be. And that can be, you know, systemic and problematic as well. And it makes it hard. It puts too much pressure. I just wish that we collectively, when we talk about that, that's a different type of utopia and a different type of peace. But I just wish that we as Black women would be more supportive of one another. We could have so much peace and be stronger together than worrying about whose name is first on the marquee. I've always said, I don't care where my name is as long as it's spelled right on that check. I don't care about the rest of that. It don't matter. You know, just break bread with your sister, you know, and we good. but don't expect me to do it all, be there for it all, be the wife, be the mom, be the community leader, be the advocate, be the activist, be out there, support, support, support. And then you're not anywhere to be found when I'm telling you I'm tired, I'm broke down. Can you watch the children for me for a little while? Can I get 30 minutes? I just need 30 minutes. It's okay. You know, you ain't got to stay the whole day. They ain't even got to stay all night, just for a little while. Even to me in having an office in the house, I can remember my husband when we first moved into the house, you know, tell me, hey, this, you know, this is a room that you need to have just for you, for your space. You know, you do what you want in there. I didn't know how to act with that. I could not really appreciate that because I'm used to we just make it, you know, fit the best we can. Yeah, and it's okay to do that. But if you don't have to, then why? It's how we have conditioned our minds, you know, to believe that we can't do, we can't have, we must. What I said, you need Jesus and a therapist. It's okay. Call on the Lord, but ask him to lead and guide you to the best therapist that's out there that's going to help you to find the peace that you need to have.
I know that's right. I know that's right. It's just I'm really happy that it seems like the last few years in the Black community, talks about therapy and mental health have been uplifted in a way that I've never seen. I really didn't hear it much growing up at home. You know, it really wasn't a thing, but now it's something like I can get on Twitter today and people like, I went to my therapist and guess what my therapist said? Yes. And they have, you know, a word for everybody. And I'm seeing the shift and I can appreciate it. I think we are chipping away at things that we once considered taboo because a lot, I mean, we're in the Bible Belt. We are in the Bible Belt. I grew up in a missionary Baptist church and they didn't play no games. You know, you had to pray, you know, pray about it and, you know, talk to Jesus, talk to the Lord about it and move on. But I'm like, but wait a minute. I mean, I actually need somebody to say something back to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can get a little piece of clarity, but then what?
Yeah. Then what? Because who said that gifts and talents did not, you know, we got doctors for everything else. And we always say that they have blessed hands and they blessed for healing. Why is it that we struggle to say that they have been blessed, that there's someone that has been blessed with the mindset to be able to heal the mind, to be able to talk us through? The same God that blessed those gifted hands also is the same one that blessed that gifted voice to be able to take care of our mental health. So maybe if our mental health was intact, we would need those gifted hands. If this is all right, maybe we don't need it for the rest of it.
That's right. That's right. And I oh my gosh, you just spoke to me. Like I just felt like you were just talking to me. I'm trying not to get personal, but not trying to make it about me. But yeah, but I recently did an interview with a therapist, and she focused on mental health. Young Black girl and woman, you know, I don't even think she's 30. And it was just amazing talking to someone that was younger than me. And, you know, I think I'm really young, but, you know, and the way she spoke, thank you. And the way she spoke about mental health in a way, like, I feel like we're on the cusp of something new. I feel like we're on the cusp of changing, like breaking chains that we always had, like things that we were scared of. I mean, it's just when I heard about therapy growing up, it was always, you know, that's for crazy people, you know.
Yes.
Crazy folks. What's wrong with you? You ain't gonna need that. I mean, I wasn't saying it for my, you know, saying therapy for myself, just asking in general. I always thought it was a white people thing, you know, to go to therapy. And I always wonder, I was like, okay, y'all will go to the doctor, you know, if your foot hurts, if your leg broke, your heart not feeling right and stuff. But if you have a doctor for your mind is your computer.
Mm-hmm.
And even like, God forbid, something happens and you're in a wheelchair and you can't do the things that you don't have anything else but your thoughts, your brain, you need that. And once that's gone, it's nothing
Right.
left, literally. So I think we need to put a heavy emphasis on making sure that we take care, be gentle, and be kind with ourselves, especially our brains, our mind, our mental
Yes.
state, because it's a lot of things that we carry from generations
Mm-hmm. We
that
do. We do. And, you know, I often, when I'm speaking, in fact, I have a presentation that I'm going to give later on this evening. And one of the things that I've talked about is that everything starts in the mind. You know, we act based on what we think and how we feel. So if we think that, you know, we are unworthy, we think that, you know, counseling is for crazy people, and this is what we've been taught and what's been shared and passed down from generation to generation, because that's what Big Mama and them said, you know, and that's the way they live. And they were with, you know, Pawpaw for 52 years, you know, but then we looking at why they got all of these health challenges and things too. You know, some of it has to do with just our general thought process. You know, I truly believe that we have the ability for much of our ailments, we have the ability to heal ourselves. But it starts with what we think and how we feel. So if I think that I'm not entitled to a better life, then I'm going to always look at myself as secondary, and I will allow people in my life who will treat me as such. And I will not have the peace that I desire or I deserve. You know, in the same way with everything else. You know, we talked a lot about creating your utopia and that being different for everyone. But what is universal is what we think and how we feel up here. And this will help to dictate everything else about us, you know. And that's when our mind starts to shift, that's when abusers get angry with us, because our mind is shifting to a place of peace and power, you know, and not recognizing them as the primary focus anymore. You know, if we decide we want to start a business, write a book, start an organization, get in a new relationship, all of it has to start up here, and having the will and the belief that we can have more, we can do better, we can be better. There is a better place for us to be. We can create our own sense of peace, and just remembering that it's over time and not overnight. So, you know, today too, I was going to say today is National Online Learning Day. Okay. So this is a good day for us to really focus on ourselves and try to learn some new things. It's also felt hat day. So if you wear your hats and stuff, you know, be cute. And if that's what peace looks like for you, be cute. And it's also double cheeseburger day too. So, you know,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't know about that day.
So yes, there is a national day set aside. So if that's your guilty pleasure, my thing is food and movies. So yeah, I'm always be in the know of, you know, what makes me feel good and what helps me to have peace. And I find comfort and peace in my food, but I am selective in what I eat and how I eat now, because my mindset has changed from food being a way for me to cope and find comfort to now I do eat it and I enjoy it, and it actually tastes different, because it's coming from a different place. And as odd as that might sound, that is the absolute truth. When you think different, you will do different, and things around you will be different. It will feel different. The same air that you breathe will seem just a little more pleasant, a little more peaceful, a little more appreciative, because you see it in a different space. It's how you have created that perfect place of peace for yourself. So like I said, I've really enjoyed everything about today. So if nobody is on here but me and you, I'm thankful.
Oh no, I've been watching on the Facebook. I've been glancing at the people that are watching. It's definitely some people watching. They've been leaving comments. They're definitely agreeing. They're enjoying themselves as well. But
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mrs. Kyles, oh, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed you.
Me
You're
too.
so engaging, and it's like I was hanging on to everything that you were saying, like
Yes.
everything. And I I really enjoyed this. I did, and I know. In the beginning, you did you shouted out your website and your social media handles, but could you do that again for the people that are just now joining and they
Sure.
missed it? Yeah.
Okay, sure. For Walking into a New Life, that is the name of our nonprofit organization. And the website is WIANL.org. That's WIANL.org. You can go there and find information, news, resources. We have a couple of campaigns coming up. We have a lot of new things that are going to be showing up starting today and in the weeks to follow, leading up to Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is in October. So we have some campaigns. I certainly do hope that people will take advantage of those and participate in those with us. And then for me personally, with coaching and consulting, whether, like I said, it's a personal development, writing a book, just trying to get some structure, some organization on what you want to do and where you want to go, and how to create your own personal sense of utopia. That is joycekyles.com. So it is my name. It's joycekyles.com. All our social media handles for Walking into a New Life and for Joyce Kyles Consulting are on those websites. So again, if you go to WIANL.org, you can find us in all our social media, because we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If it's social media, we're trying to be on it. And then for Joyce Kyles Consulting, that is joycekyles.com. And again, my social media handles are on there as well. So that's how you can connect with us.
Thank you again so much for that. And I also want to thank everyone on Facebook for joining us for another wonderful episode of the Evolving Women webinar. If you cannot get enough of Sister Reach, I'm sure you've been sharing it, and we've had some newbies that are checking us out. Follow our Facebook page at Sister Reach. That is SISTER. Did I say the second R? EACH. Let me repeat that. That's SISTERREACH. Or visit our website. That is sisterreach.org, spelled the same. And our social media handles, we now have a Snapchat. Yes, it's still Sister Reach, just plain on Sister Reach. And we're also on Twitter and Instagram as well. I look forward to seeing you all in October. Thank you so much for being a part of the Evolving Women webinar. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.